Welcome to Ruger Tech Tips. Today in this video we're going to show you on your Ruger rifle that is equipped with the HS Precision Pro Series stock that also has their stock centering technology, how to adjust that. So to begin with, I want to make sure that the rifle is completely unloaded, so I'm going to point it in a safe direction. I'm going to move the safety from the safe position to the load-unload position, pull the bolt back, and I'm going to visibly and physically check my chamber and my magazine to make sure there's no live ammo, and I don't have any live ammo in my work area. And for this, I don't need the bolt in the rifle, so I'm just going to hit the bolt release, remove the bolt, and set that to one side. For tools, you'll need a couple things. You're going to need a soft-faced hammer. You will need a torque wrench that goes from 50 inch-pounds to 95 inch-pounds of torque. I'm running two different torque wrenches. You can run simply one and adjust it between the two. I'm also going to run just a regular socket set. You're going to need a 5/32 driver and a 3/32 driver. And of course, you're going to need a good pair of safety glasses. So to begin with, I'm going to loosen up my screws so I can make the adjustments. So there's two screws on either side that adjust our stock inside our barrel system here. So I want to loosen those screws up, and I'm just going to back them off a turn or two so I've got some room for adjustment. So just on each side, I'm going to loosen those up, back those off. I need to open up the floor plate, so I'm going to hit my release, pivot this up, and I find it easier to get rid of my spring and follower. So you just tip that spring forward, lift up, your spring and follower comes straight on out. Now I've got access to all my screws. So I'm just using a regular socket driver. This front screw is 95 inch-pounds, so it's pretty snug. So I'm going to loosen that up. And again, I'm not taking it completely out. I'm just getting it loose. Same with my trigger guard screws. I'm just turning these a couple of turns just to get it loose. I want the rifle to be able to have some movement inside the stock so I can make the adjustment. So from there, I'm going to flip my whole stock over. I'm going to take my 3/32 driver, and I'm going to pull the stock over to the left-hand side, actually the same side that I'm going to make the adjustment on. So I'm going to pull it to the left towards myself, and I'm going to go in with my 3/32 driver, and I'm going to start turning that screw in, and I'm going to watch my stock channel. And what I want to do is I want to push that over to where the barrel is centered inside the stock. So I'm just going to keep turning. I can feel it engage right now, and I'm just moving, moving, moving. And I can see right now I'm centered, which is where I want to be. Once this side is centered, I'm going to come around to the other side. I'm just going to bring that screw in until it's up snug. I can feel that engaged receiver. And then from there, all I need to do is snug up both sides. There's no torque spec on this. I'm just doing it finger tight. I wouldn't go over tight. You don't want to strip out those screws. So once that is set, my left to right, so my barrel is centered in my stock, now I can flip this over and I can go back through and I can tighten up my trigger guard and my screw here, which is both my hinge and where it socks the stock and the receiver together. This is 95 inch-pounds of torque. So I have one of my torque wrenches set for 95 inch-pounds of torque. And I'm just going to tighten this up until that's good and snug. So my hinge screw is tight, and now I'm going to switch drivers, and I'm going to tighten down my two trigger guard bolts. And I kind of walk these in. I'll get one a little bit tight, and then I'll tighten up the other one. And these should be set for 50 inch-pounds of torque. Okay. Those both are tight. I'm going to put my floor plate and my follower and my spring back inside. You just press that in, drops in. Now, very often when you've loosened up your trigger guard, it will shift forward, and more than likely I've got to push that back. So I'll test it. I can't fully lock this down, so I'm just going to take my soft face hammer. Now, if you want to put a piece of tape or something like that, that's fine, so you don't damage the finish. And I'm just going to hit this right on the face, just push it back, just get it back where it's supposed to be. And now that should lock down. So everything seems to be working correct. I'm going to double check my chamber to make sure I have no live ammunition. I'm going to do a quick function check. So I'm going to engage my safety. My bolt is locked down. I cannot fire it. I go to the load and unload position. Cannot fire it, but I can operate the bolt. Go fully fired. Fire position. Once your function check is good, you have successfully aligned your stock centered on the barrel with your Pro Center technology system. Thanks for watching this Ruger Tech tip.